Okay, everybody. Welcome to Rugby Brough Council's. I can repeat that. Welcome to Rugby Brough Council's Cabinet meeting this evening. I'm Councillor Michael Moran, Leader of the Council and Chair of Cabinet. The meeting is being web streamed to the public through the Council's YouTube channel. During the meeting, when asked to speak, please use the push to talk button on the microphone in front of you. Before we begin the formal agenda, I'm obliged to read out the following fire notice. There is no fire drill scheduled in the building this evening. If the fire alarm does sound, please could I ask that you make your way out of the building, down the main staircase, and out of the main doors of the Town Hall and congregate at the entrance to Coldcut Park. An officer of the council will then give instructions on when it is safe to return to the building. Okay, so moving on to our standard agenda. So item 1, minutes. Could I get a proposer for the minutes for the meeting held on the 24th of June?
Chair, I will move, sir.
And second?
I'll second.
Great. And then for a vote, all those in favour? Okay. Thank you very much. That's carried. Moving on. Item number 2, apologies. Can I ask our Chief Exec for...
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, all. We have apologies from Councillors Livesey and Councillor Robinson this evening.
Thank you very much, Dan. Okay, moving on. Number 3, declarations of interest. To receive declarations of A, non-pecuniary interests as defined by the Council's Code of Conduct for Councillors. Councillor Woodhouse?
As somebody involved in allotments around rugby, on the allotment item, I think it's number 10, is it? Non-pecuniary.
Okay, and sorry, Councillor O'Rourke?
Yes, on the first item, St Andrews, as a matter of public interest, I'm a trustee and it is registered on the register.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman.
Oh, sorry, apologies. Councillor Paul.
Item 16, the impact of voluntary and community sector organisations. Both Councillor Ward and myself are both members of Long Lawford Community Association, which is funded by the council.
Okay, great. Thank you very much indeed. So moving on to 3B, pecuniary interests as defined by the Council's Code of Conduct for Councillors. Anything on that one? And then in category C, notice under section 106 Local Government Finance Act 1992, non-payment of community charge or council tax. Anyone behind on their bills? No? Okay, great. Thank you very much. So moving on, item 4, public question time. Could I ask the Chief Executive any questions?
There are no questions this evening, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so moving on to the business of the meeting then. In Councillor Robinson's absence, as ever, first up, growth and investment, digital and communications portfolio. Could I ask a colleague, please, to propose item 5, St Andrew's Church Public Realm Projects?
Thank you, Chairman. I'll move the recommendation 1 and 2 as printed to go to Council.
And do I have a seconder for that? Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Thank you very much.
Chair, thank you. Just part of the Rugby Borough Council commitment to regenerating the town centre, St Andrews is really a key a place where it's a focus of the town centre, all the activity goes round. And as part of the public realm, improvement project, I think I would like to move the recommendation it printed. I'm sure we'll have a debate at the full council.
Thank you very much. Could I go to Councillor Poole, Councillor Ward? Anything to add?
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, we'll save our comments like Councillor Mystery till full council.
You big tease. Could I go to Councillor Roothouse or Mackenzie or Dumbleton? Anything to add?
Yeah, thanks for this. Yeah, I mean, it's the parish church of Rugby, and it's nice to see that actually talking to the church authorities, which can be quite difficult with the diocese and the people in the background, that we're now starting to get to some timelines and some positions around this. It is a valuable heritage, Grade 2 building within the centre of Rugby, and as I said, it's our main parish church for the borough as well. So it's a start, and it will be, I know they want to do further work as well within the church itself to bring a lot of it up to light, because you know the windows and some of the valuable assets around the church are really good, and it's something that we need to hold on to, I think, going forward.
Thank you very much, Councillor Roothouse, and obviously to echo that, I'm very conscious of all the work that's gone in to date, and I'm personally over the moon that we've got this to this stage, that we can start to make some tangible impact to what is undoubtedly one of Rugby's more prominent buildings, and how great it would be that we're associated with a building of that quality and that character. So really looking forward to that, really looking forward to the debate and the discussion. So thank you for that, Councillor Roothouse. So going back to colleagues, can we take this to the vote to propose to take it forward? Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. That's carried. Returning back to you, Councillor Mystery, for item number 6, High Street rental auctions.
Thank you, Chair. I'll move the recommendation to the Cabinet as printed 1, 2 and 3 on the report.
I'll second it.
Thank you very much. So just taking it as, can I go back to Councillor Ward or Councillor Poole to add to this?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, just again, we'll save comments till council, but just that it's nice, good to see this coming forward, because obviously the town needs support like this. But yeah, we'll save the rest of the comments.
Thank you very much. And Councillor Mackenzie or any other colleague?
I'm going to say something. I think it's something you hear so often from residents, which is they're so fed up of empty shops in the town centre. So I'm really relieved that we're now going to have some teeth to actually fight back and actually force buildings back into use and stop them being derelict and just stop them being empty and left empty over long periods of time. So I look forward to waxing lyrical about this in chamber at full council, but I'm pleased to see it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mackenzie. And equally, just to add to that, I think first and foremost, it's great to see Rugby at the forefront of this initiative. So I believe, subject to confirmation, will be one of the first adopters of this, if not the first adopter to take it forward. So we're at the cutting edge of this, and ultimately, there's a huge technical detail of this, but what it does amount to is there's a legislative hammer to attack effectively empty properties and redundant shops. So if we do all this work and it brings forward even a handful of shops, then it'll be worth doing, because I think it shows the intent as much as anything else. So thank you for those comments. Going back to colleagues then, can we take that to the vote, please? Great, that's in favour and carried. Councillor Mystery, going back to you. Item 7, the Economic Strategy Action Plan.
I've moved the recommendation printed 1 and 2, especially his proposal to develop the Economic Strategy Action Plan. And if
Thank you. Getting carried away. Can we get a seconder, please?
I'll second.
this is very much Councillor Robinson and Councillor Mackenzie's brief. So rather than me speaking on behalf of Councillor Mackenzie, who's not here, I'll give way to Councillor Mackenzie. I'm sure she will eloquently come back with how much work the officers and everybody's worked on it.
Councillor Mackenzie.
Okay, that was unexpected, but I'm happy to speak about it, because I'm sure you all know that the economic strategy has been sort of something that I've worked very closely with, and I was thrilled that that went through. But the ambition has never been just to be words on a page. That's a waste of everybody's time and energy if that's all it turns into. So I'm really pleased to see the action plan come forward. I thank the officers for all the time that they've put into this, and it's a 10-year timescale, so there's a lot of actions, a lot of things that we're aiming to do, and I look forward to seeing those happen and being able to track them as well, and actually judge them and ensure that they are actually being taken forward properly. So,
thank you very much, Councillor Mackenzie. Any comments, questions from the Conservative Group?
No comments on this one, Chairman.
Okay, I'll equally keep my comments very brief. It's just good to see it moving forward. So thank you very much for all the hard work to colleagues that have put in over the last many months. Going back to colleagues then to vote on that one, please. Okay, that's carried. Thank you. Last for now, Councillor Mystery. Item number 8, supporting local government reorganisation with the establishment of a data, insight and automation function with Rugby Brough Council. Actually, Councillor O'Rourke, do you want to propose that?
That's right, I'm going to propose it.
Great. And a seconder?
Chairman, I will second the motion.
Back to you, Councillor O'Rourke.
Okay, just briefly, this report sets out the funding and resourcing requirements of a proposed data, insights and automation of our functions. I suppose the key headlines are, yes, it's an investment, but it's an invest to save project. It's in line with what local government association are recommending, and we're forecasted to make savings by the year end in 28-29 of 690,000, but we're also investing in our services and our services to our customers, so it's a win-win situation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything from Councillor Poole, Councillor Ward?
Thank you, Chairman. Anything that makes this council run smoother for our residents, I'll happily agree with. What my group say, I don't know, but I agree with it at the moment.
Councillor Roodhouse?
So I'll check this out on Chat GPT to make sure it's fit for purpose. and I suppose I say that, yeah, tongue in cheek, because there are elements around this that we mustn't forget human beings about all these particular parts of it, and certainly how things work. I welcome the fact of automation and how it works and technology and the way things are going forward. I mean, that is, it is good that we're going to be doing that, and we're following some of the great guidelines. But I think we do have to make sure through the AI Ethics Board, and I'm not sure, does that have the portfolio holder on it? I haven't read the full report, to be honest, but does it? The AI Ethics Board that's mentioned in B, the creation of an AI.
That's the list.
But I mean, it should have some elected member.
It does have elected prior petition.
Yeah. So within it, so we need to make sure there's an oversight, not just for the controlling group, but I think all groups in a way need to be aware of that. And I think what we've suggested at the County Council through some debate which took place around AI and all those particulars is if you like a sounding board which was cross-party, so it doesn't hold any particular, position, but it's there for the officers to take stuff to, and actually just in a way just have a sound off. We're thinking about doing this or X, Y, Z, and I think boards like that or sounding boards are quite useful. So I hope that can be taken on board and utilised in that way as well. So all members will get some feel for how this systems work and how they go. Yeah, ChatGPT, it does work. It can write a strategy for this council in about 5 minutes if you want.
Sorry,
Yeah, and
O'Rourke.
entirely agree with your comments, Councillor Roodhouse. We should never lose sight of the fact that we're dealing with people, and whilst AI is going to provide us with lots of very useful resources, we do need to have that oversight, not just on board, but through our processes, through our complaints and all the rest of it. So the qualitative side is as important as the quantitative side, and I've already myself sort of asked quite a few searching questions and have been satisfied with the answers, so hopefully we will get it all right as we move forward together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rourke. I've nothing to add to those contributions. So straight to, can we have a vote to take that forward to full council? Great. Thank you very much. And sticking with Councillor O'Rourke, item number 9, Capital Programme 25-26, Queen's Diamond Jubilee Centre, Section 106 funding.
Yes, I'd like to move it.
Chair,
Second that.
Delighted to second that.
Okay, thank you. Councillor O'Rourke.
Yes, this is a really good news story. As we know, we're very fortunate in Rugby to have a publicly owned sports centre that provides very good facilities at very reasonable costs for our local population, supporting their well-being. the opportunities with this, and as I say, another good news story, it's very much about ensuring that we have the best of resources and the best of facilities, and we will be doing a complete refurb on the gym, and we will also be refurbing the actual sort of changing area and wet area round the pool, and we obviously will ensure that they're fully compliant with all the latest legislation. So we're bringing forward money that has already been identified within the 106 of 360,000, and 100k will be provided by GLL. So yeah, it's a fantastic story for our local residents that we will have such a high standard in a publicly owned facility.
Thank you very much, Councillor O'Rourke. So anything from the Conservative group in the name of the benefits of public ownership?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I welcome this report. As you've already mentioned, Councillor O'Rourke, the leisure centre is well used, and I think upgrading the facilities. I suppose the only little question is regarding local government reform. What's going to happen there in terms of if we're going to spend a lot of money, are we still going to be retaining the leisure centre? Just a little question. But I do welcome the upgrading of the equipment.
It's money, and it's a good question, and it's something that I think, you know, keeps us all a little bit awake at night, thinking about how things will pan out in the future. But this is money that's already been identified within 106, specifically for that area, and it can't be used anywhere else, so it will be fine. Thank you.
Anything from the Liberal Democrat group?
Just a quick one which follows up on that. I think that I think there are some big questions when we get onto some of the assets around the whole town, not just the Ken Marriott, he says, Queen's Diamond Jubilee Centre. History, it's history on there. And so there is a question. Actually, I found a photograph where they were moving the memorial gates the other day as well. So that was quite interesting. Anyway, I've got off track. So Neil Sanderson said no, but the about this is that welcome, it's section 106, it's got to be allocated to it. But I do think within the working party on local government reform, we need to think about that. I do know some town councils, for instance, do have leisure facilities, but this may well be on the tipping edge between a town council and actually a local authority, because it's quite a large asset for a town council to hold. But we do need to start building that hierarchy of what we've got and what we're going to need really going forward within the working group.
Thank you, Councillor Roothouse, as ever, kind of setting the right tone. I think, and again, Councillor Warder, I think it does. We're going to get into that debate now over the coming weeks about how the future does pan out for rugby and for its assets and for its residents. So I've no doubt that we can work, you know, collegiately on that to do what's best for the town and the villages. So thank you very much. Going back then to colleagues for the vote, please. So that's carried. Thank you very much. Okay, going back to you, Councillor Mystery, you've had a chance to... Oh, the allotments, sorry. How did I forget the allotments? Apologies. No, I've just had a text about it. Going back to you, Councillor O'Rourke,
yes.
Item 10, Centenary Park allotment.
So I'll move that.
And the second?
Chair, I'll second that motion.
So, another good news story. It's been a long time in the making. Obviously, I think it was last February when we made the first allocation of a sum of around 70,000 to provide the sort of technical and drawing side of the whole process. And we've now managed to sort of use existing capital project funding through this work, through 106 monies to actually go forward with the project in terms of the second part of it and the third part. So the first thing that will have to happen, it will have to go out to tender. That will take a little bit of time to do. But hopefully, once we're through that process, work will start pretty quickly. So we'll work within the guidelines of obviously the procurement when those contracts come back. But I'm hoping that we'll be seeing some big changes within the next sort of 9 months. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor O'Rourke. Anything from the Liberal Democrat group?
So I I do welcome this because, as I know from tonight when I'm in another meeting at 7:15, we'll be talking about 70, 80 people on our waiting list for Lansdowne allotments alone. And I know Dunchurch have got them. Yeah, it's across the board, so there's quite a high demand. So this is welcome. And National Allotment Society are good in the way that they do with their member peers and the work that they do working with associations. The question does come back to the actual committee and how they do operate and how they go forward, because I know from personal experience with allotmenteers how it can get quite fraught around these particular elements, and they will need, if it's a new committee, they will need quite a lot of support around that. So I do hope that the council will ensure that whoever is going to take this forward will do that, but it's really welcome to see this sort of phase is coming through, and we need to consider this in other areas as well. Certainly the ones at Halton filled up overnight, and there's just, yeah, there are people we know got on hours. We have people applying from Halton and from around the whole town because the ones at Halton are just not big enough. So if you're going to be thinking about developments in the future, you do need to seriously consider those particular elements. But the good resources, the National Allotment Society, they're really good at what they do. So yeah, it's great.
And I again totally agree. We need to make sure that the community association's in place, and I've already spoken to officers about that, and I've been assured that that is happening, and they will be working with the local community and providing that support that's needed to make sure that it's a successful and a success story going forward. Clearly it's a really important issue, allotments and people growing their own, and it fits very nicely with our sort of key priorities in terms of health and well-being. So yes, I agree with Councillor Woodhouse. We do need to make sure we have this all lined up properly and support the community.
Thank you, Councillor Rourke. Sorry, anything from Councillor Ward or Councillor Poole on allotments?
Yeah, loads, but it's already been said by Councillor Woodhouse, and obviously Councillor O'Rourke jumped in before she should have done, but fair play. Anything to do with the community, and I welcome the report, as does Jerry. It's a long time coming. The residents of this borough who do like allotments, grow their own fruit and veg, with the society out there and the prices out there now, I think it's a damn good idea, and get it up there quick as you can. No problem with this, Chairman.
Great, thank you very much. I think, yeah, for me, just to add, I think just clearly it's long overdue. The sooner we can provide clarity, that community consultation as is needed, and I know Councillor O'Rourke, you've touched on community access, and I think ultimately what's most important is that this is the new facility amenity is for the benefit of Rugby's residents, and is used for allotments for the purposes that they're intended for. So thank you, agree to all that was said. So back to colleagues then for the vote to take it forward. Great, thank you very much. So now going back to Councillor Mystery for Finance, Performance, Legal and Governance Portfolio. Item 11, Finance Quarter 1, 25-26, General Fund Revenue and Capital Monitoring.
Thank you, Chair. I move the recommendation, the Quarter 1 position for General Fund for 25-26. And also, it's important that Item 2 recommended to Council that the General Fund Vehicle totaling 212,000 be approved as set out in point 6.1. Thank you.
I'll second that proposal.
Thank you very much. And I know, Councillor Mystery, you're keen to share the hard work. If I could move on, please, to perhaps the Conservative group this time. Any comments to add to this?
Thank you, Chair. No comments on this at the moment. We'll save it for Council.
Thank you very much. Anything from the Liberal Democrat group? Well, yes. Yes. Do you want to come back first, Councillor Mystery?
Chair, thank you. Just want to point out, I don't think people have noticed the difference in reporting this time. In the past, it goes like a long time ago, 3 months ago, that the council's general fund, the performance KPI, and the HRA were all muddled together, and this way there is more clarity, you know, and I'd like to thank John Elephant, the Chief Finance Officer, for persevering to trying to make it more readable and more clarity in how we report the quarter 1, 2 onwards as we go along. Chair, thank you.
No, thank you, Councillor Mission. The only thing for me to add is that focus on financial good practice and management is clearly fundamental to everything that the council is doing. So thank you for all the work that's been done to date. There is further work to be done, so thank you very much. Going back to colleagues then to vote to take it forward. Okay, that's great. That's carried. Councillor Mystery, performance report 25-26 quarter 1.
Chair, thank you. Council performance report set out for quarter 1 be recommended to the Cabinet.
Seconded.
Second it.
Councillor Mystery.
Again, it's something that trying to see where the council is going in terms of, you know, the 3 sequence of light, green, amber, and red, and it gives the officers a more, and also Chief Financial Officer, where the issues are, and rather than waiting till the year end where the, you know, the shortfalls are, or where we need to correct the direction of the spend and also the service delivery, and I hope people have a chance to look at that link and see what's going on. There are about 70 odd KPIs that we have identified which are important. There are hundreds of it, you know, some are not relevant to the, you know, the general body here. So hopefully, you know, it gives you a bit of a more hands-on for the portfolio holder, chief officer, to be on top of their brief.
Thank you, Councillor Mystery. To the Liberal Democrat group, any comments to add there?
Just a couple of... performance is really important, and I do think that as a local authority we've still got some way to go on how we report and they're doing these and tying these down to even like the deliverables that we're doing. And the presentation has improved, yes, and we're getting there, but I still think that that if you like, everybody at every level needs to be pushing this further. So we just go to the dashboard, it's on the public face, but I don't know, to me there's still something which is not quite there yet in relation to how it's all working across the board. I don't think it's embedded properly within areas, and you know, we've spoken about this, and there needs to be further work to be done that. I mean, we're not a really bad performing council, yeah, don't get me wrong, but I do think that we could be upping our game and doing a lot better in what we've got in front of us.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rudas. Councillor Poole, Councillor Ward, anything to add?
Nothing further to add to those comments, Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. Going then back to colleagues to vote to take that forward. Great, thank you very much. Councillor O'Rourke for the Equality Diversity Strategy.
Yes, I'd like to move this report.
And do we have a seconder, please?
Chair, I will move that, or second it, I should say.
Okay, back to you, Councillor O'Rourke.
I'm very, very pleased to be able to sort of bring this forward. Obviously, the strategy will be covering the period 2025 to 2028. We've developed new equality objectives, but you will also see that we've achieved the Disability Confident Employer, and we have recently achieved the Armed Forces Covenant Silver Award. And myself and the Chief Officer will be actually attending a ceremony this week to actually receive that award. So not only are we sort of doing the sort of what you have to do stuff in terms of the legislation, we're doing a lot more and stuff that's really making a difference to people's lives. So, yeah, I recommend this report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor O'Rourke. On to the Conservative group. Any comments or questions to add here, please?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Well done, Maggie. Especially the award. You know, I've had 12 years working with E&D, and I think it's the right move forward. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Poole. Anything from Councillor Woodhouse?
Yeah, I'm glad to see this at this council. As I learnt about EDI training at Warwick today from colleagues, that most of some members from a particular party just walked out. And I can assure you that it's, and there was comments made as walking out by them about it was a load of rubbish, a load of waste of time, and you know, and this, that, and the other. So I'm glad this local authority has got this here, because this is it is important, and I can tell you, you know, across in Warwick, you won't believe the comments that you hear in corridors and from some of the reform members who are wondering about those corridors. So, you know, I think we need to make sure that this is bolted in for future years, that we're doing this, because it is important stuff.
Councillor Ward, anything to add?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I just wanted to add further that I think it's great to see this, and it's something that we should always constantly be reviewing. Every year we should be reviewing. So yeah, I just support it, basically.
Thank you, Councillor Ward, and Councillor Poole, for your earlier comments, and obviously Councillor Roodhouse as well. And I think, you know, without getting too grand about it, it's just so incumbent on us to be really clear as to what an EDI strategy is, and what it includes and what it doesn't include, and how the benefits that are detailed here. And you know, just I'm sure we'll have a good proper discussion, but just even in just the summary comments, the financial implications clearly is often the area of the summary report that councillors tend to focus on really quickly. And in here, this is about ensuring access for people with access issues. The very idea that the town hall doesn't need to be up to standard for giving complete access to its residents, so that anyone can become a councillor. As we know now, with a new councillor with accessibility issues, we're facing that issue of a town hall that's somewhat, you know, it needs updating a bit. So I really look forward to the debate. I think it's really incumbent on us to be really clear for what those benefits are, because ultimately in anything in life it's all about transparency, and let's talk passionately about what's good in this sort of work. So thank you. Going to councillors, colleagues then, for to vote to carry that forward, please. Great, thank you very much. Okay, a different voice now. Community Homes Regulation and Safety Portfolio. Item 14, Finance Quarter 1, 25-26, Housing Revenue Account Monitoring.
It's because we split it, it's end up in the wrong portfolio, but it's my brief, and Chair, I move that the Council HRA forecast financial position for 25-26 be considered.
Thank you. And a seconder, please.
I will.
Thank you very much, Councillor Edwards.
Chair, similar again, it's something, it's the housing portfolio is brief, and I will just carry on and leave it at that today.
Thank you very much. Councillors Paul or Ward, anything to add?
No comments, Chairman, thank you.
And Liberal Dem Councillor Woodhouse?
Yeah, I mean, the HRA account, the revenue side, I think we need to keep close monitoring of that, because it does give me a little bit of concern around the pressures that are building. And of course, you get things that come around the corner and suddenly knock it completely sideways again with what's going on. So I do have some concern about that, but I understand how the budget works and to going forward. But I think we do need to keep a close eye as we move into the budget cycle further, and make sure that the department is doing all it can and is running at the levels. I've spoken to the Chief Officer about this, and I understand the reasoning behind it all as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Roodhouse. So Councillor Edwards, do you want to come back on something?
Yes, thank you, Councillor Roodhouse. That's really useful comments to make. I know there are pressures currently with our PRS, but it is a good news story ultimately. Our stock survey is now at 87%. So whilst you can't plan for repairs that you didn't know you needed, now we've done the surveys and we're at 87% complete, we have a much clearer picture of what repairs need doing, and our void rates are coming down. So I know there are pressures temporarily, but we have plans to move forward on that. And as you would expect, I'm on this with a head of service who is very well aware and has a plan to move forward.
Thank you. And all I'd add is, again, similar discussions with the Chief Officer, who no, not here this evening, but similarly that this has been a very important staging post in the work of planning the strategy of that department going forward. And I look forward then to both this taking forward, but also I know there are future plans to accelerate that forward thinking. So thank you. So going to colleagues to vote to take that forward, please. Thank you very much. Okay, item 15, Housing Strategy 2535.
I so move.
And the second?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. I wrote a speech, but I won't give it. I think it's really important that we have a housing strategy that demonstrates our direction of travel for the next 10 years. I am happy to do questions, but this has been looked at in great detail by a couple of member workshops this year and by scrutiny as well. I'm really proud of the work that our housing officers are doing as a department, and as they prepare for inspection over the next few weeks, I really think we are moving and cooking on gas to make sure that our service is the best it possibly can be. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Edwards. Councillor Paul Ward, do you want to come back?
Just one comment again. It's again, the strategy is 10 years. We don't know where we're going to be in 10 years. I mean, obviously they've got to do the 10-year strategy. I appreciate that. But with LGR coming down the line, you know, it's 26, 27, 28. Are we going to look at it further?
I think that it's not a comment that's not unreasonable as we move forward and see what the new landscape will look like. But we still have 3,500 council homes. We have a responsibility as landlords to our tenants. The HRA fund, it's not our money, it's not even the council's money, it's actually tenants' money, it's their payment of rent. And we have a duty of care to make that the best it possibly can be. And we will do that. I'm really pleased that this week we got the first set of tenants getting their keys at Navigation Way, and that's the way it's got to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Can I offer anything from the Liberal Democrat group to speak?
So I welcome this. It's been a long time coming, but I mean, it's a good document. The basis there, and I know, yeah, through the Housing Quality Network, which is a really good element to it, with, was it Tim Brown, I think, at the beginning, has been involved, which I've heard his name before in these particular documents. I suppose, Councillor Paul, it would be, who's going to be here, you know? Exactly. So we don't know, do we? But as has been said, we still have a duty as a landlord right until the last minute as to how this will work out, and therefore it's only right that we need to make sure that those markers are in as a landlord going forward, and then as whatever comes afterwards, whenever the sun rises or sets or whatever, who knows. But there are, I do know that the Chief Officer through the housing officers for Warwickshire do talk about this particular work on a regular basis as well. So I'm sure some of that's fed into here. But yeah, no, that is a concern, really. Yeah, what does happen to our housing stock? How will that be looked after? You know, what will be the position around that? And we'll just have to work through that, I think, and put as many safeguards in as we can through the particular documents to it. But even with the LGR, it'll probably be, I don't know, 5 years from now before we actually start to see some of this falling out as to where it's going. And who knows who will be where in 5 years' time. Some of us won't even be here in 5 years' time. So it'll be up to those people in the future to make sure that we've left them a legacy which is building through the LGR coming out the other side.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Roothouse, and obviously just to echo that, I think the point being that even in the best case scenario, I think there were probably two and 3/4 years or so to vesting day of a new authority. So that's quite a time for people's, 3,000 or people homes and people's lives. And I think I go back to the point that I made earlier, that it does come back to being really transparent about what we have and what we've got and what we've done, so that if when you go forward and effectively present kind of report cards to other authorities in assembling, aggregations and detailing, it's really important that we know really clearly where rugby stands and where rugby's assets sit and the condition of those assets. And then so ultimately in anything going forward, we're very clear on the role that this council has done in looking after its assets. So thank you all. Going back to colleagues then for the vote on that, please. Great, that's carried. Thank you very much. So moving speedily on, item 16, the impact of the voluntary and community sector organisations funded by the council 24-25. Who's going to propose that, please? Councillor Edwards.
I will, Mr.
And to second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards.
Very briefly, my thanks once again to our officers for putting this report together. I think it speaks for itself how important working in partnership is for this authority and our partners across the borough. And I commend the report as printed.
Excellent. Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Councillor Mackenzie.
I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank all those who are involved in the voluntary sector here in Rugby Borough area. We're grateful for the work that you do. You make a massive impact on the lives of our residents, and it's tangible when you talk to people who are working in any kind of charitable or voluntary position, just what a benefit it is for their own well-being, but also for the well-being of the people they work with. And so I'd like to place on record our thanks for all the work that people do.
Councillors Ward or Paul, please.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I'm going to follow on, as Councillor Poole said earlier about non-pecuniary interest when he mentioned, he remembered my surname. That we are both involved in the Long Lawford Community Association, and we see firsthand how important it is supporting the voluntary community sector. It's massive, and it really reaches to the local community with lots of different things. So we absolutely support this. Yeah.
Councillor Roothouse.
Goes back to some previous comments and discussions that have been mentioned through it as something called LGR, town councils. That, and I'm just wondering whether within this can we take this out as well, because if we are looking at town councils and those particular elements, what is it within those town councils? If you do look at a lot of what they do, part of that is funding through the voluntary and community sector, through those precepts that they bring forward. Because the future, no doubt, whether it's 2, 1, 52, whatever it might be, is actually going to put a lot of these organisations under pressure. Because it's quite clear from unitary people I speak to that have gone down this route from Somerset up to Cumbria and Westmoreland and Furness, that actually what gets pulled first is usually the culture, the arts and this stuff gets pulled out first, because it's all going towards the high adult social care and all the other particular elements. So therefore, as has been mentioned, this is really important stuff, and therefore I think there does need to probably be a bit of work around this. Again, bringing that together is, if you had a town council for Rugby, how would that look? Would Lawford Parish Council actually pick up most of this stuff, or would it have to do some other work? Because that's what you're going to be starting to look at, I think, and that does mean that parish councils are going to have to work much closer together, actually, if they want community and voluntary action and support in their communities to do that. And I do think that we need to start really seriously thinking about that, because I know it could be 2 or 3 years away, but once everything happens or whatever happens to that, and the evidence is quite clear, as I've said, that the funding that gets pulled is usually from all this area first, because they strip the decks, because it's the classic non-statutory stuff that can just go, and therefore that's like the museums and the arts, voluntary groups and the rest of it. So I think if the working group through the chief executive could bring this on board as well, so we can actually start to lay this out in a bit of a template as to about what we're starting to look, and then with the other parish councils and the ones that are thinking about being created at Halton and elsewhere, they need to start thinking, do we come together in even a consortium for Lawford, well, you know, like you do, and say, actually, we're going to put stuff together which will actually run communities and do that.
Thank you, as ever, Councillor Roodhouse, yeah, and agree completely. And again, I think almost like sort of themes of the evening, I think it equally, for me, it touches on the idea that there's a presentation of facts, and then there's sometimes a reality. And sometimes people can try and distort things for their own benefit. And I think the reality that this is, you know, clearly a very good news story of, you know, local organisations, local community charities doing really good work for their local colleagues and residents in areas around Rugby and villages that is very much needed. And I think it's great that these reports are done each year to highlight the work that's been done, because it then puts really in no doubts and no misgivings about what's been done, and therefore what would be lost if things were taken away. And I think we've got to be, you know, collectively really clear on that, you know, to fight for what our residents need. So thank you very much for all the contributions. Going back to colleagues then to take that forward for a vote. Okay, that's carried. Thank you very much. And I appreciate, I tend to get this bit wrong, but I understand we've got to do the motion 17. So I'll read it out. Motion to exclude the public under section 100A4 of the Local Government Act 1972. To consider the following resolution, that under section 100A4 of the Local Government Act 1972, the public be excluded from the meeting for the following items on the grounds that they involve the likely disclosure of information defined in paragraph 3 of schedule 12A of the Act. So can I get somebody to move that?
Chair, I will move, sir.
And second?
I'll second.
And to vote on that, please? That's great. That's